All right, strange political bedfellows in Washington today as the official opposition leader to the Trudeau government hit up the Capitol to talk trade and help save NAFTA. To discuss this unusual turn of events and show of unity, we're joined from Washington by Conservative leader Andrew Scheer. Mr. Scheer, a lot of mixed messages out of the White House these days. What's your sense about the state of NAFTA following your meetings?
Well, there's some good news, and I think there's some real cause for concern. On the one hand, there are a lot of people here in Washington, both on the elected official side and on those on, representatives of industries and agricultural groups, and they believe that there is a real threat to NAFTA, that some of the messages coming out of the Trump administration are causing a lot of anxiety, that many people are taking some of these statements very seriously. The good news is that there does finally seem to be a sense that this is registering on people's radar, that there's an increasing awareness on the side of our U.S. counterparts of their need to get more engaged on this, to fight for NAFTA and fight for the benefits that come about on both sides of the border. And so we've had some great meetings on that, talking about what we can do going forward to capitalize on that, to leverage Americans who are fighting for the same things we are, and that is free and open trade across our border.
Are you sensing any frustration with the White House and Trump's unpredictable, because you're dealing, I gather, with congressional leaders as well. Are they saying we can't get a read on what the president wants to do with this deal?
Yeah, we're meeting with some elected members of Congress, and as well as people who represent other industry associations. We had a great meeting with the National Home Builders. We're at the Woodrow Wilson Institute talking to a large group of people from all different sectors. There is a sense of difficulty in terms of trying to determine what the ultimate goal is of the Trump administration, or a guiding principle that you might be able to look for to try to predict where deals may be struck on some of these items. You know, there's a sense of that's not always readily apparent. So that's where we had a lot of discussions about saying, okay, what is it that could be compelling arguments to this Trump administration? I don't believe that we can come down here from Canada, read copies of Adam Smith to senior members of the Trump administration and be successful. We have to find who are the people that he listens to, who are the employers out there in states like Iowa, Ohio, Pennsylvania, who employ people in those districts thanks to trade with Canada, thanks to their ability to sell into our markets or buy products. So that's where we've centered our discussions on, saying how can we increase those types of voices speaking to the Trump administration so that they understand the full impact of what he's threatening to do.
Yeah, now you've criticized the Trudeau government for not acting quickly enough on some of to find solutions, particularly on softwood lumber. I mean, has this trip given you any greater appreciation that the Trudeau government's on the right track, or do you still think there's room for improvement?
Well, look, I mean, I've committed to my counterparts in the Liberal government that while I'm here on American soil, we'll speak with one voice. That I'm not here to try to expose any kind of fault lines that would in any way weaken our position at the negotiating table. It's too important. There's too many jobs that rely on that. When I come back to Ottawa and the House comes back into session, I'm going to be, I'll be very ready to outline some of the mistakes I think have been made and some of the missed opportunities that this government has let go by.
Mr. Scheer, no one's picking this signal up except for Canadians, so you can speak freely on this network. All right, I'll appreciate where you're coming from on that, but I want to get back to an issue of disagreement. Prime Minister Trudeau, as you know, he's demanding some organizations that are applying for, say, summer job grants or funds from this new Canadian Service Corps programs attest that they don't oppose reproductive rights, and that means abortion. In your view, is Trudeau violating the Charter right to freedom of religion and conscience by these organizations?
Well, there's some real grave concerns being expressed to us from many stakeholders across the country, from many different walks of life, many different types of organizations. the government has the right, has the power to decide what types of activities or even specific organizations that it chooses to fund with its granting formulas. But what we're talking about here is asking individuals or groups to attest to kind of a litmus test, a values test that Justin Trudeau is imposing. His own personal values have to be measured up against his own personal values, regardless of the type of service that's being provided. So you can picture a church that runs a summer camp for at-risk youth. You can picture a homeless shelter that's run by a volunteer organization. Those individuals involved in that will have to attest to sharing the same values that Justin Trudeau has. I don't believe that's appropriate. I believe that goes far beyond what this government meant to do, and I think it's time that they reconsider it. We've been hearing a lot of feedback from people who say, our group doesn't do any kind of advocacy on social issues. We provide a service to First Nations. We provide a service to at-risk youth, to people with mental disabilities and other types of issues. That's what we're focused on. Why do we have to somehow sign on to Justin Trudeau's values test?
Interesting. Well, I think this is going to be an issue with legs, Mr. Scheer, because there's certainly a lot of social media interaction on it. It's the best read story on some websites I saw. So thank you. We'll see if you bring it up when you get back on Canadian soil. I'm sure you will.